in the midst of suffering. The Amish knew how to glorify Jesus Christ. I say the federal budget is a moral document that tells us where our values are. If you say to a doctor, I know you don't believe in abortions and you believe it's murder, but you have to murder this kid over here. You can't do that. It's how did you handle things when life did not go the way you wanted it to go?
Well, the Amish are living that out.
Oh, aren't they?
And the Mennonite,
yeah,
which is Amish light.
Yes. Well, that's good. That's good. I will remind my Mennonite brothers, because we have a lot of Mennonite students at Eastern. Do you have many Mennonite students here? We have a lot of them at Eastern.
What were you going to say about the Amish? You were going to say something.
The Amish are good in this respect. You remember a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when this crazy guy goes into this school and rapes a little girl and kills several of these Amish children. And the Amish community responded by reaching out to the family. Instead of scorning them, the word forgiveness ran through them around the world. There were news all over the world, whether you were in Japan or Australia, the sheer shock of, we don't want, instead of saying, I hope he burns in hell, coming with love and forgiveness. And all the rest of us looked at ourselves and said, I wonder how we would have reacted in respect to that. How do we handle that? How do we deal with that? The Amish knew how to, in the midst of suffering, to glorify Jesus Christ. But if I were to answer shortly, I would say to somebody who said, I have had a prosperous year, and I thank God for all that he has given me. And I want you to pray that this doesn't destroy me on the one hand and makes me into a good steward of these resources, that I might use them as God would want them used. And one way is to give to Lakeland,
to
give to
Southeastern University. But listen, all of us are rich in this country, really. I mean, 99% of us are.
And let me break it to you. If you look at our federal budget, the money we have set aside to feed the starving people of the world, of our federal budget, is less than 4/10 of 1%. I didn't say 1%.
What happens when you get a Democrat in the White House?
Yeah, well, that was under the Bush administration.
Oh.
Okay. I have a feeling that it hasn't changed. I have a feeling
it should.
It should. But, all these people talk about, bringing their Christian faith to bear in politics. Well, I say that the federal budget is a moral document that tells us where our values are, because Jesus said, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. And one thing to say about Bush, you got to give him this, that as the AIDS crisis broke out in Africa, the Bush administration designated $17 billion to address that disease.
Is Obama doing anything to help the poor?
Yes, he is. And of course, he's just gotten into office. And people don't realize we've been so hot and bothered about this health issue, we've forgotten that that's about the poor. Yeah. That's really about the poor. Are we going to give health benefits to the poor people of this country? That's about the poor. I think he's tried to do other things for poor people as well. I think that what he's done on the international scene has been incredible in terms of getting the Nobel Prize, because his commitment to poor countries is incredibly intense. So I'm really excited about his commitment to the poor. There are other things about him that I raise questions about.
Yeah, that abortion thing.
Yeah, I brought that up in an earlier
rip. Yeah, you
rip.
did. We got 5 more minutes? Okay.
Good.
Has he changed that abortion thing?
It's still, I don't get it.
Is a doctor who refuses to give an abortion in trouble?
Well, let me tell you what happened.
What happened?
The health bill came up in the House of Representatives, and I have to say I had a part in this. Myself and the Democrats for Life is a group, mostly made up of Roman Catholics, sadly enough, but we all pressured, and that has been taken out of the bill.
So a doctor can refuse to give an abortion.
That's right.
So
the bill, as it's, so there is some good in getting involved in politics.
Yes, there is.
I mean, I have my
because
problem.
Our last season, you were talking about that, and that was horrifying me.
But the truth is, we were able to win the battle. And Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi, a lot of people say she drives me up a wall. She may. But I think New York Times the other day said, you've got to give her credit. She did steer the bill through the House of Representatives. Whether it will get through the Senate is another question. But the health bill has passed the House. And the questions about doctors having to perform abortions contrary to their conscience, I think that when you begin to ask people to do things that are contrary to their conscience and their beliefs, you have crossed the line.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't care where you stand on the issue. I don't care where you stand on the abortion issue. If you say to a doctor, I know you don't believe in abortions and you believe it's murder, but you have to murder this kid over here, you can't do that. You just can't do that.
So they did take that out?
They did take that out.
Okay, good.
Do you feel better now?
Yes.
Yeah, that's in the new health bill.
Any more questions? We got 2 minutes. Anybody got? Yes.
Yeah.
Can we grab the microphone for him? Right here. Tell us your name and where you're from and what's your question.
His name is Warren.
Name's Warren. Yeah.
Hey, Warren.
I got the gift of prophecy.
Yeah, you got it.
My question was further about what you were talking about with the federal budget.
Yes.
Going back to like the UN goals in 2000, how are those being fulfilled? Are they being fulfilled? Why aren't they? That kind of.
To me, it's a great tragedy that the Christian church in the United States is not involved in what we call the Millennium Project. This is operating in other countries. If you go to England, and when I was talking about the spirituality in England, you have an incredible combination over there of Pentecostalism and deep commitment to social justice. They are wedded together in England like no other place. And every Pentecostal church has these signs out. Cancel third world debts. Every one of them has commitments to the Millennium Goals. It is possible to eliminate world poverty by the year 2015. The United States has made very little in the way of commitments to actualizing these, even though we voted for them. The good news is we've fulfilled our commitments. Interestingly enough, France made grandiose commitments, but it delivered absolutely nothing. Do you remember the tsunami, when the tsunami took place, and everybody was criticizing Bush because he had committed such a small amount of money from America to help the tsunami victims? He actually ended up increasing it dramatically. The United States came through and delivered all the money they promised. Germany promised 10 times as much and delivered nothing at all. So in the end, America gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
But the reality is that America has made a commitment that it has not fulfilled. And it not only includes taking care of the poor, but it also includes taking care of the environment. Because as we destroy the environment, the capacity of the earth to produce food is declining dramatically. We have to save the environment just so that the hungry can eat. There are all kinds of elements to this. You can find out about the Millennium Project by going to the internet, but it's a great thing. And as I said in an earlier show, Bono of U2 has been propagating this. The church has not, and the church should. When we pray the Lord's Prayer, we pray this: Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. We're not going to create the kingdom, but we got to work towards that end while we live out the Christian faith.